Morning, everyone, and welcome to our first call at Bronie's desk for 2026. And guess what? I didn't get it wrong today. I can tell you what I did on New Year's Day. Anyway, that's all beside the point. My theme for this year, just to let you know, is healthy mix in 26. So that's my catchphrase for the year. All these calls we do every Tuesday are to help you with different parts of that healthy mix. And there are 8 areas of the holistic wheel of your life that you should be getting balanced. And a lot of us aren't balanced. So that's why I chose healthy mix for 26, because it involves more than just supplements or eating right or things. It's also your mindset, your spirituality, your community, your finances. There's just so much. Anyway, I have our beautiful friend and our newest pharmacist to our part of the world business, Lisa Hamil, with us today, which she's going to talk shortly. But before that, one of our beautiful guys that comes on almost every week here in the background, young Michael, has something he wants to share with us before we hand over to Lisa. So Michael, I'm handing it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Bronwyn. Yeah, I just wanted to say that I've been looking after as a carer end of life situations in nursing homes. One of my clients who passed away only a few months ago, she had dementia, but she had a lot of I don't know the subjects about skin. I think talking to Lisa earlier, she had a lot of skin picking, so she'd pick at her skin all the time, and I think at the end of the day, I concluded that the combination of brain altered sensory processing. So the brain doesn't censor things properly, so they think that there's something on their skin, they start picking their skin. And also the other thing that she was having was a lot of, by the way, she was a wonderful lady, 97, she's done it all, rural Australia, and coming into, and bringing up 4 kids by herself. She really was quite a trooper. But at the last few months of, about 3 years of her life, she was in the nursing home, and it was a combination of very dry skin. So she wasn't drinking properly. And there's a lot of dry air in air conditioning in these nursing homes. So she was having a lot of problem with her skin, and I think she was picking at her skin all the time. So that was a sort of journey we took, and we really tried to hydrate her. We try to put some moisturizer on the skin and all those sort of things. But it is a real concern because they're in an unfamiliar world. Their world's getting very complicated for them, and they revert back, and the sensory part of their brain is going or gone. And that's really the issue with that. So you basically have to look after their sensory concepts or their senses for them, and really try to make a better quality of life. And that's why this subject, I think, is very important today.
Well, thank you, Michael. That's a very important point to note, because it affects them all in different ways, doesn't it? And I find if they're dehydrated, that is one of the biggest parts of what causes their issue.
Yes, correct.
It's not the only thing, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I have to look at the stats in the US, but not lately. But here in Australia, and this includes children and babies, we are about around 90%, give or take, of people who are extremely dehydrated and have no clue.
No, that's right.
And will tell you that they're not. But when you see the issues that they're having, you know full well they are. When you ask them how much they're drinking, they will say, oh, well, I have 50 cups of tea a day, 20 cups of coffee. And I think that's not hydrating you.
No, exactly right.
Or they'll have Coke, or they'll have a beer, and they think that's hydrating yourself. It's not hydrating. And we have some really amazing hydration sticks here in our business, because that's the company I came in with, that will reverse that, give them a nice drink that's not alcoholic and makes the water taste great. And you can mix them to get the flavour you want, and they all have a purpose. So that is a big issue. And I think
also following on from that, she was a great coffee drinker, so that coffee was dehydrating as well.
Mm. The first thing that dehydrates is your brain.
Correct. Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yep.
Makes sense that that's where you have your issue. When you get a headache, migraine, you drink plenty of water. I tell people, drink my Coreo, put it in your water, and it helps it immensely.
I was actually giving her Celtic salt, so a little crystal under her tongue, and apparently that helps enormously when you it absorbs, and it allows the salt, just a tiny little crystal, nothing much, but that helps the water go into the cell. It's easier transition. Just a little trick that I learned.
That's very good. So, Lisa, your thoughts on this now? Are you free to talk?
So I'm very curious. How did you know we were going to talk about dermatitis and dementia today? That's the title of my collection of information.
Well, I just went on with what you sent me. Would you like me to talk about this? And however you said
dermis to dementia. Did I tell you that already for today?
I'm psychic, Lisa.
No, you told me something. You told me something else.
That explains everything.
I can't pronounce, but anyway, I just copied and pasted what you sent me in last month.
It was a conversation earlier, Lisa, before we came on. You did say you were going to do something about dementia and the skin.
Isn't that amazing?
But you forgot about it.
Well, to be honest, I forgot about what I sent. Bronwyn. What did I send you?
Oh well, look, that's why you go to WhatsApp, because that was in there. You see. Now I can't. Nitric oxide boosters without medications to lower blood pressures, increase energy, and decrease brain fog.
Oh, okay. That was the nitric oxide message.
Yes.
Okay.
You asked me would I like to talk about that, and I said yes.
Okay,
but you did ask me that a month ago. You asked me that last year, so I'll forgive you. It was a year ago.
Oh my God!
It was only a month ago, but anyway, it was last year.
Part of it is how many arrows can Cupid possibly aim for in the one heart that you have? There's just so many choices we have and so many ways of looking at one particular thing. Keeping everything straight is a fiasco in itself. But in any case, very timely information. And of course, I'm very empathetic to this 97-year-old woman. I presume she's still alive, or is she?
No, Michael said she just passed away just recently. He's been
very recently. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she did a good run for the money, I would think.
Yes, she did.
She did. And wonderful and good for her, because just think she never has to worry about dermatologic issues any longer. So that's
true. And she would laugh at that.
And she doesn't have to worry about the rubbish that's going on in the world either.
Well, speaking of the world, someone just informed me that they passed something in Australia regarding social media for young children or for young people.
Oh, they passed it, but I can tell you what, the kids and the parents all told the government, you do not tell us what we can and can't do with our children. And it's easy to find ways around it, but yes, they did.
Yes. When was it?
That's a hot topic, because they expect from the moment they start school, they expect them to have an iPad at school to work off. And when they first brought that out, I said, you're going to create issues. kids on
Yeah.
the internet when they should be doing others anyway.
Yeah.
And they think they can get away with it. Anyway, back to the subject at hand.
Okay, well, we're definitely in for a wild ride here. The question is, should we deal with the dermis or the dementia first?
Yes.
Because they are related.
Because that's what Michael brought up, so we should.
The dermis
Oh,
or dementia?
which one, Michael? The dermis?
Yeah, either. I mean, all I was saying was that Elvira, her name was. She kept on picking at her skin all the time, and she really didn't understand, because I think the brain alters the sensory process. So they think that they've got a scratch or an itch, but they actually haven't, and they keep on scratching, and the moisture was not there. Skin was very dry, and less supple rather. So she always had the skin problem going with her dementia at the same time. And I don't know if the dementia comes first or the skin comes first. I just don't know. Maybe the skin issues are a symptom of or prelude to the dementia. I just don't know. Maybe a canary in the coal mine sign. I don't know.
Actually, when I give you this information, I would like you to give me your impression of what you think was going on and could be going on after you have the tools that I provide you.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds good.
Because there's an understanding that, bottom line, our entire body is one big giant conglomerate of interacting systems and substances. And it's very difficult to deal with constipation if you can't see where you're going, and if you can't have access to good water and good nutrition, and even being able to think appropriately, laugh at things. There are so many things that really are intertwined, and we have to keep that in mind. And it's extremely obvious when anything goes wrong, it's not just one thing, because so many other things contribute to it. Correct?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely
Okay.
correct.
So we always want to look, this is why holistic harmony and holistic health is so vital, because it's not just one system. It's a combination of systems that play into each other, and it's because our body has so many thousands of ways of telling us that something is not working. But just because our body tells us something isn't working doesn't mean it has already identified what it is that's not working. It's just related to something that isn't working. And that's why we have to really be so aware of all the things, like you say, Bronwyn, the big picture. It could be the bank account. It could be fraud. It could be so many different things that are entering into the picture, causing misalignment, stress, you name it. And people that think they want to talk to me when I'm on this conference call, so they flash across my screen. Shame on you. Don't you know I'm busy doing something? But anyway, that's why we really want to pay close attention to all the little things that misalign us. It's just like running over a pothole with our car. You know, it's one little bump in the road, but it can dismantle.
Not if you live in Australia.
What was that?
Not if you live in Australia, or at least country Australia. We get surprised when we actually see road. We've got more potholes than we have road.
Well, you
Where
know,
we live, and we have a bit of a joke going on here. We do. Oh, watch out for the road.
oh yes, it gets in the way of the potholes. Okay,
That's right.
Well, believe it or not, when I was in the 7th grade, our family moved up to Sudbury, Ontario. And it was a huge, semi-big city in those days. It's become a lot bigger, but at that time, very few people even had a television set. And the roads in town, there were exactly 2 paved roads that were the main 2 streets, and tons of all the little neighborhoods were graveled roads. And the truck would come by periodically and lay out a bunch of stones along with the sand. And of course, it would snow, and when it rained, and as you drove through there, the uneven impact of the stones and the sand resulted in beautiful little potholes all over town. So they never had to worry about.
I understand that with gravel roads, because we didn't have paved roads where I lived while I was growing up. But these are paved roads that have got potholes.
Okay, you've got paved roads. Well,
but
since then,
look, when the paved roads have potholes, that's a big worry.
That's true. That's true. Well, there's always little challenges for sure, but
it's like our body. Actually, they haven't got to the root cause of the issue. They haven't done their testing right, and therefore they haven't packed it right, which causes potholes. And our body's the same.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think of the foundation. You have to lay the gravel and the asphalt down on a good, solid foundation. Just like you have to have good, solid sleep before you can expect to wake up and do something solid.
Amazing.
With your brain.
We've got to get back to the subject, otherwise
I'll never be there. Okay, so here we go. Now, it just so happened that there was a brilliant summary available for, a lot of times they refer to seniors in certain health situations. But to be honest, old age begins at a very early age. And if we really want to have a longevity that matters, we have to start at a very early age. Our one body, as this woman, as an example, lived to 97. My mother lived to be 97 and a half, almost. And if you think, how many cars do you drive in 97 years? Our body is expected to last a long time, and yet, you know, you get a new car because you don't like the style, the colors are not up to date, the body mechanics aren't favorable any longer, but our body has to last all those years and all through different models of cars. And believe it or not, the more it runs, the longer it lasts. Yeah. And we're not really using our body as well as we could. You know, we're not putting the right oil in there and changing things appropriately. Anyway, just to let you know that this vehicle we live in is our vehicle for life. And we really have to take care of that car, that vehicle, from the moment we're born. You know, we have to get started off on the right habits. And this is where parents are so important in regards to children, teaching them how important it is to do this and not to do this, because it's going to impact their longevity, their attitude, the whole bit. And the easier long life becomes, the sooner and earlier these habits have been implemented. And a lot of times we're running through life and everything is wonderful, and then we wonder, well, why are things breaking down all of a sudden? Well, it all started many, many years ago. So the earlier the better. That's point number one. But with regards to skin, yes, hydration is really an important factor, and there's different ways that hydration impact our skin. If we have dryness, not only are we more susceptible to potholes and cracks, because the suppleness is lost from our skin, believe it or not, splashing, let's just look at the face for a moment, because that's one of the most prevalently revealed form of skin that we all experience with each other. So I'm going to refer to the face, but it applies to the rest of the body as well. And the whole idea that one of the best things we can do for our face and our skin in general is to splash cold water on it. Now, why would that be helpful? Believe it or not, that change in temperature triggers the body into a massive Vasoconstriction, because it wants to preserve the heat that's already in the body, and you've just trounced a bunch of cold water on it. But that process allows the blood vessels to constrict briefly. It releases norepinephrine, which has important anti-inflammatory benefits. And then, as a response, the body begins to vasodilate. So it makes an impact on the blood vessels under the skin. If the skin is in trouble for whatever reason, there is a very strong circulation component involved. So the skin has what they call microcirculation, which is also true in our brain and our eyes when we see. The way we see and how clearly we see is closely related to how well the circulation in our eye operates, the microcirculation, because it brings in all the nutrients. So let's say you want to have really healthy skin. There's all types of things you can put on the skin. And one of the most famously discussed elements is this whole idea of collagen. Does anyone take collagen to help boost their skin health?
Yeah.
It's a very popular item. Okay.
We have some
a lot of people
peptides.
Okay, so collagen peptides are good. So we ingest it. The stomach does its thing to it and break it down so that it can get into the bloodstream. And those ingredients, maybe they're teeny amino acids, and eventually you're expecting them to arrive under the skin. And what do you think ultimately makes collagen?
The body.
Okay, the body.
Cholesterol?
But there's, go ahead. What was that?
Cholesterol?
Okay, cholesterol contributes, but the actual operating system of our skin production is what they call fibroblasts. These are little cells that virtually put the little amino acids together and construct collagen. Because when you take it orally, or even if you apply it to your skin, it's really nice. But if it doesn't get to where collagen needs to work and become the building block of your body, which is basically the glue and the adhesion of, what do they call it, connective tissue or fascia. Fascia is really interesting. It holds the muscles together and it holds the muscle onto the bone and allows the joints to work. And the beauty of fascia is that when we abuse our body and mistreat it, fascia has a ton of what they call nerve endings and the ability to then sense that it's in danger, it's too hot, too dry, too cold, too malnourished, not enough circulation. And then it sends an impulse back to the brain and says, this is not working. You've got to stop whatever you're doing because the knee has been distorted and decompopulated away from what its normal function is. Things aren't working smoothly. And I'm here to warn you that, ouch, that hurts. Don't do it anymore. Be careful. Something's going on. So it's not just the fact that you have collagen. It's not just that you have skin. It's that the skin is supported by collagen and connective tissue, which is collagen, and fascia, which gives you the nerve endings to tell you that, ouch, that hurts. And it's the fibroblast that actually reconstructs your amino acids that are ingested into what the body makes into collagen. So when you take collagen internally, it doesn't show up under your skin as that collagen. It's first broken down and reassimilated, goes through the bloodstream and gets in to the microcirculation where the fibroblasts can use it to make collagen and support your skin. Now, when I was telling you about the splashing of cold water onto your face or your skin, your hands, whatever, that changes the circulation because no matter how many nutritional elements we ingest, if the circulation doesn't bring that nutrition to the site of activity, then it's not going to help us. How do you like that? So circulation is a vital thing, and cold water splashing on the skin. That's why you may have heard people taking these ice water plunges and doing things like that, because it stimulates circulation in a way that can promote health. Saunas can do that as well. It all depends on what your tolerance level is, and over time you develop an ability
Not sure
to
if it's
tolerate
that
it.
tolerant.
Okay, well, but that's why they claim the health benefits are available, because it causes the vasoconstriction, vasodilation. When all that hyper microcirculation activity happens, guess what? Your body makes nitric oxide.
There you go.
Yeah, so nitric oxide was one of the key elements of my title. And a lot of things that we can do for our skin impact nitric oxide, delivery. But it boils down to the microcirculation, the essential elements, which are amino acids, and the nitric oxide. Now, the nitric oxide is associated with blood vessel activity. As a matter of fact, if you're really, really low on nitric oxide, people develop high blood pressure. Now, for months and months and months, I've been wanting to show this to you. This is a simulation. Can you see this? Because I've got my background. Maybe I should get rid of my background so that you can see it better.
That would be good.
Yeah, let's do that, because this has become extremely significant. Let's see if I can do this right. I don't want to blur my background, I don't think. Oh, that's good. How's that? Can you see it okay? It's a little blurry, but I don't really want you to see the background. I want you to see this foreground, how I'm holding it. Yeah. Does that make sense?
But if you hold it down in front of yourself, because you're blurry, your background's blurry, you can't, but there we can see it.
Okay, so I want to make sure you see it. So I was so excited about this because this is something that's extremely demonstrative. It demonstrates what's going on with your blood vessels. Now let's pretend this is a blood vessel. It's really just a hose that I got at the hardware store, okay?
Okay.
But it's very similar to what our blood vessel goes through. Now I'm sure you've all heard about calcification of blood vessels so that you develop plaques on the inside of the blood vessel. And that contributes to the relative inflexibility of the blood vessel, because you want it to be able to dilate and constrict as necessary depending on what the body has to do. And so if it's overly constricted, then we have high blood pressure. High blood pressure is a problem because then you don't get vital nutrients and blood, oxygen to all the tissues that require that in operating our giant, beautiful body. Okay? So we always want to make sure our blood pressure is in a good normal range, and we also want the blood vessel to have its own ability to constrict or dilate when necessary. Some people, when they wake up in the morning, they're dehydrated, they get up out of bed, and boom, they faint because all of a sudden there's no blood going to the brain. And so all of a sudden they pass out. And I had a very dear friend that since passed away, but she was a bit older than I. She got up out of bed one day and fainted, fell against some desk thing or some piece of furniture, knocked herself out, and had to go to the hospital for evaluation and see what was going on. But it was because either she was dehydrated or she wasn't basically getting enough blood to the brain so that she could maintain her consciousness. Right? So having our blood vessels in really good health is very important, because when necessary, you want to make sure there's enough vasoconstriction to pump the blood up against gravity to the head, where you're able to stay conscious. And if you're dehydrated, then the blood volume is diminished, and you're not going to get blood where it needs to be in your head to maintain your consciousness. But the benefit, did you hear that phone ring?
I did.
Oh my gosh.
Probably the bank.
It's not even a listed number, but anyway, okay. So thank you for your patience with this.
That's all right. Mine does that occasionally, so I've got to make sure I've got it on site.
I don't even use that phone. It's just there for emergencies. Who knows what? Okay, so you can see that there are times when it's important for the blood vessel to dilate in order to get enough blood to the right place, because if it's too constricted by inner plaques on the inside of your blood vessels, there's not going to be enough blood flowing through there, and people have high blood pressure, and that causes organ damage, mostly because you lack the oxygen and nutrients that the blood is bringing to the various organs. And then, of course, if it's not able to constrict properly, you get the fainting problem. Now, when we develop plaques on the inside of the blood vessel, it's like filling your garden hose with a bunch of sediments that prevent the water from just flowing through. And that's what I have here. So this is a tube, and what I've done is I put a little bit of nail polish from here to here. I don't know if you can see it. Perhaps not.
I see there's something there.
Okay, well, it's white. It's a white nail polish that I put on, but pretend for a moment that nail polish is on the inside, because there's no way I could have put it on the inside of the tube. But it's the same principle, because on the inside of the blood vessel is all this accumulated debris that has essentially interfered with the flow of blood through the blood vessels, right? And so to improve that, one of the best things that can be done, aside from taking low cholesterol low cholesterol foods or anti-cholesterol producing agents, which it has its pros and cons, but a lot of times when there's damage with the inside of the blood vessel, it lends itself to a setup of more plaques on the inside of the blood vessel. And one of the things that can help remove that is stretching. Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay, so I'm stretching this, and guess what happens? You may not be able to see it that well, but let's see.
No, because
okay. Okay, so can you see it now? See
Yeah.
how all the little white things are micro
The
distorted?
plaque all breaks up.
Yeah, their cholesterol's broken up, right? So guess what? That makes it easier for the flow to carry those things away. Now, if they're too big, they can cause a clot. And that clot can be trapped somewhere that's vital and cause a stroke. Or can interfere. It can interfere with the delivery of blood to a vital muscle like the heart, or interfere with the blood delivery to your retina. Your eye and your vision will be impaired. But what I'm trying to point out is having that flexibility in your blood vessel is really important, and stretching really helps. Have you ever been told to stretch before you exercise or stretch after you exercise?
Yes.
Well, when I was in
cool down.
Okay, well, cool down, whatever. But, we sit all day, say, or we sit for a period of time. But if we could sit on the floor, and here's our legs, if we could sit in a way that allowed us to move our legs apart like that, and then bend over and put our nose on the ground, that would be a huge stretch that would benefit.
I can do that.
Benefit our body. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or even just go like this. Like we don't really talk about stretching that much, but the value of stretching and, what we're doing to our blood vessels improves blood flow. Now, I was talking about splashing cold water on your skin. That's going to cause the blood vessels to contract and open up, and that is going to prevent clots from building there, deposits from building there. So it has that value. The other thing that's really helpful, aside from stretching, is you can actually do this with your skin. Now, ideally, I'm sure you know Bob Hope. Do you remember Bob Hope a million years ago? He died at 100 years of age. And as he got older, he was very strict about having a massage every single day, because the massaging really does a wonderful thing to all your blood vessels. You know, it just helps keep all those blood vessels. And of course, if you do that for your face, that's what a, face treatment involves. So you're sitting there watching television, you can do this, right?
Yes.
And it's a magical, wonderful thing, okay? Because we're making an impact on the blood vessels in a way that really matters. Now, ideally, we would massage our whole body, but sometimes we can't reach certain parts. But the parts that we can reach, that's why movement is so vital. But the stretching is a form of internal massaging for those reasons.
Yeah.
Because nothing happens in the body if it doesn't get circulation. And that's the whole reason why heart attacks are so detrimental, why strokes are so ugly, is because we now have cut off access to those tissues for vital elements that keep us alive. It's like filling your car up with gas, but it can't get out of the tank, right? So what are you going to do, right? It dies.
You got to make sure the connection cable.
The connection, the flexibility. So this is one of the best things you can do, or this is one of the benefits of splashing cold water on your face or on your skin in general, because it keeps the blood vessels, the microcirculation, and your skin is famous for microcirculation. There's blood vessels in there that are so tiny you can't even see them, whereas you can see the big blood vessels in your arm that the doctor uses to withdraw blood or the lab uses. Those are readily available, but it's the little baby ones that are doing the fine work. The art of living vitally requires that. Okay, so I mentioned the idea of, like massaging your face or massaging like this friend of yours that had all those skin issues.
Yeah.
Massaging the skin with something like olive oil is really fantastic as well. Olive oil is a huge stimulant of producing collagen under the skin. I'm talking about extra virgin olive oil, not store-bought olive oil that's in a non-dark container. Olive oil has those polyphenols. It's 100% natural. It doesn't have any preservatives in it. It's the type of thing that you can swallow. Olive oil is amazing at improving and increasing nitric oxide. It can lower your blood pressure because it improves nitric oxide production in the blood vessels. Your blood vessels make nitric oxide when it's time to vasodilate. Olive oil boosts that. It also has polyphenols, which is a tremendous anti-inflammatory and nutritional element for your skin. Now, applying olive oil externally is very beneficial, far more beneficial than any store-bought product, because those products have, as you know, antibacterial agents. The list is like 20,000 ingredients to prevent bacteria from growing, and perfumes and whatever else they think is important to make it thick or maintain a consistency. All those things just get in the way of what your body needs to do, right? We know that.
That's right.
That's why olive oil is just naturally 100% the best. You can take it internally. It's very beneficial for reducing blood pressure and keeping things lubricated on the inside. And if you can massage it to have the benefit, like this woman that had whatever was going on with her skin, You're talking about hydration, yes. So drinking water is good, but on the other hand, if you don't massage the skin, who knows where the hydration goes, because you have all those little blood vessels, but are there enough blood vessels there to keep everything hydrated where it needs to be hydrated? Are they making enough fibroblastic collagen? I told you the fibroblasts actually make the collagen in the skin. You have to have the nitric oxide to boost circulation to the skin, but you also need to massage. And most people don't have an automatic massager on the outside. Your body tries to massage as much as possible on the inside through movement, but externally, especially in the skin, even, I'm sure you've heard of Tai Chi and all those things that people do as movement to help, just boost circulation and get things going. It's not like you have to be a weightlifter or anything, but the more we can improve that is, the better. So we're talking about massaging, using your fingers. The other thing is, if you look at most people in their visible, non-naked form, they have a face, and a lot of times their neck is a lot older than their face, because how many people care about their neck as much as their face for whatever reason? And that's why it's also important. What?
I have no idea why people don't look after their neck. To me, that's very important.
Okay, well, the neck can be, not for you and people that are that health-oriented, but the neck can be a overly neglected part of the body in terms of skin. And one of the things you can do is, massage your neck, but you can also do these exercises like kiss the ceiling on this side and kiss the ceiling on that side. Stretch your neck. And then also just rotate like this. And it doesn't have to be long, but as long as you're watching television, you can do it 3 times in one direction.
Well, you won't see TV if you're doing that. But
and 3 times in another direction. You can decide on when you want to do it. But again, that boosts circulation and does phenomenal things that really no drug, medication, or agent can do, no matter how nutritious your diet is. If that circulation takes the diet elements to the part of the body that needs it, it's not going to matter. It's not going to help. Right? Right. Yeah. Same thing with your hair. Some people have more hair than others, but massaging your scalp really helps your hair follicles as well. So, keep that in mind, because the hair is sort of an extended form of protecting the skin on our head. Some people are bald. That means, my dad always said, if you're bald, you were smarter than other people, because you have all your intelligence going into other parts of the body, not making hair.
Well, I have a friend who used who went bald, and he said, all his hair fell out because he had too much in his brain
that could hold it, right?
You had to push it out to make more room.
I know the problem.
Well, my deceased husband was a minister, and he had the thickest set of hair, if you can imagine, which was really great. And he used to always joke around with his balder priestly minister friends, and they were jealous of him with all the hair that he had, and they would tell him that they would never waste their energy making hair when they had to speak in front of people, because they needed all their brains thinking, just like your friend right there. So it's kind of
well, he happened to be a minister as well.
Yeah, so what can you do?
Must be a minister's joke.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they probably went to the same club, the same annual meetings that they had, and they learned to share those type of fun things with each other. Okay, so now you're writing all this down because you're becoming an expert on all this. This is just the dermatology thing. The brain dementia part is a little bit. All these things apply to the brain as well, because the brain gets circulation as well, and we need to make sure there's. As a matter of fact, one of the best things we can do is walk on our head. If we could learn how to do that, or stand on our head, that would do a lot. And it sounds funny, but it's true. Gravity is, our head is fighting gravity all the time, and yet this is what's in charge of everything. So
before we go on, just Michael has 2 questions in the chat. One regarding exercise.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. HIIT.
Yeah, it's high intensity.
High intensity intermittent training.
Yeah, what I'm saying there is, does it increase the blood flow and stretch the walls of the blood vessels, as you mentioned with other things?
Yes, it does. And thank you for bringing that up, because I like to bring that up. Now, I don't know if we did that with our movement last month when we talked about it, but this is one of the most amazing things you can do. And if you even do it twice a week, you will gain tremendous benefits, not only circulation, but it'll boost your metabolism to the degree way beyond the length of time that you're engaging in this, because you've revved yourself up. Now, here's an example. Stop me, Brendan, if we did it last week, okay? Last month.
Last year.
Okay. So I don't know if last year. If you're sitting at a desk, you can do this very easily. It's really kind of fun. Did we not talk about this?
We did. I think we did something similar.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so you're sitting at your desk and you're basically jogging in place with your knees like this. You're sitting on your, on your chair, but you're moving intensely with your knees being lifted up, and then your arms. And you're doing this 20 seconds, just 20 seconds. You do that. And you just totally blow out everything as much as possible without giving yourself a stroke. But that's what they call high intensity intermittent training. You're revving up your metabolism, you're boosting your heart rate, you're boosting your circulation rate, and you are intense. Right?
I think
we didn't quite do that one. We did other exercises, but we didn't do that particular one, I don't think.
Okay, so what you want to do is that high intensity thing, 20 seconds. Then you take a purposeful rest of whatever else you're doing, watching television or listening to somebody talk or whatever you're doing, 90 seconds. Give your body a chance to recuperate. Then you do it for another 20 seconds, high intensity again. Just really rev it up there. Rest another 90 seconds, and then you go for your third 20-second stint. Right?
Yeah.
And then you can relax into the rest of your day. If you can do that at least twice a week, you will benefit from it. Ideally, you might do it every other day. Take a little bit of a break. Don't overdo it and give yourself a stroke, but if you can, you will build yourself up to an intensity that will increase your heart rate. And ideally, you would take your heart rate before you start. See how it changes after the first 20 seconds. Then see how it changes again the second 20 seconds, like your heart rate before the second 20 seconds after your 90 minutes of break. And, get really scientific about this and figure it out and see how you change. Because these are all really helpful things that your body will love you for.
Because you gave eye exercises last time.
I'm sorry? Eye exercises? Okay.
Eye exercises.
Well, yeah, because if you'll notice, whatever needs help needs circulation. Okay, whether it's your eye, your brain, your joints, they need circulation. Okay.
Can I come in here for a second and just thank you. I also feel that going back to your daily habits. One of the things I think is a good daily habit is if ever you see stairs or see a hill, you can run up the hill or run up the stairs as fast as you can. That's basically a hit exercise straight away there. So, for example, when I go from one end of my town to the other, I leave my car one end, I go up the staircase of the railway station and down the other side, and then I've got to come back again. I go as fast as I can. So for the last few years, my daily habit, or my habit, is if I see a hill, I'll run up it. If I see some stairs, I'll run up it. and automatically what you're doing also is you're increasing the blood flow, which is shearing down the sides of the blood vessels and shearing some of that plaque. You don't want to break it off, but you want to make sure it stays clean. And I think the research is saying the sheer volume going down stretches the blood vessel walls, exercises them, and takes some of the plaque away in little bits rather than
yeah,
big
it's
lumps.
almost like using sandpaper on the inside of your blood vessels.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's why it is so important, I think.
Yeah, well, it all boils down to movement. I don't know if I told you, but since I'm no longer working as a pharmacist, I don't drive anymore. I just walk everywhere. I walk to the post office, walk to this, walk to that. And I mean, just staying active in that way, it's very relaxing. It gives you a great opportunity to think about anything, get fresh air, you name it. Okay. Say hello to everybody. Happy New Year. Right? Spread the sunshine.
I think going back to 1952 when I was born, my God, a long time ago, but then nobody had cars. Everybody went to grandma's house for dinner across town. Everybody had to walk everywhere. Now we don't do that. And I think that's why you see 1950s, you see thin people because they walked everywhere. They're active all the time. Today, we don't do that. And that's our problem, I think.
Yeah, well, I think the 50s were also when they introduced most of the television sets we have in this country of the United States. I don't know about you, but when our family moved up to Canada during my 7th grade year, very few people had TV sets. They were still reading books. Anyway.
Radio. And the other question Michael had in the chat was, going back to your oil, does castor oil do the same as olive oil? I would say a big fat no.
Yeah, well, castor oil is a little bit different. It has some usefulness in terms of being used on the skin at night to help boost the buildup of collagen while you're sleeping. But you better be getting plenty of stage 4 deep sleep, because if you're not getting the right kind of sleep, that's not when your body's going to make collagen with castor oil. Castor oil has often been used to reduce constipation. Olive oil is a better one at this point.
Okay, that's fine.
And castor oil, it comes from the castor bean. It has some things to offer. It does have lubricating abilities, but olive oil would be better in general.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and now, speaking of olive oil, another very healthy oil to use is aloe vera.
Oh, yes.
Now, when you're talking about making collagen for the skin, aside from circulation, and you need the protein, which are amino acids. So when you're taking all these collagen supplements, that's not the collagen that's getting laid under your skin. You're taking collagen, but it's going to be broken down to amino acids, and then your body's going to make it into collagen once it gets into the bloodstream, where the fibroblasts can make it into collagen, right? So just because you're eating collagen doesn't mean that's the collagen you're going to get under your skin. But it sells a lot of product by buying collagen and so forth. But aside from that, one of the most important things you need, in addition to microcirculation, actually there's 2 important things. One of them is nitric oxide, which we talked about before. Nitric oxide is paramount in making, through the circulation, in making the collagen with the fibroblasts, okay? Nitric oxide production. The other thing that's really important is plain old vitamin C. Vitamin C. And one of the recommendations from an esthetician is to use some aloe vera, like maybe an ounce, and put 1 500 milligram tablet of vitamin C. Grind it up, put it in there, and use that in your aloe vera preparation. You only leave it on the skin like that for maybe 30 minutes. You don't just leave it on there. You put it on for a while. let it soak in however well it's going to soak in, and then eventually wash it off maybe in 30 minutes. But it's not something like olive oil that you just put it on there and forget it. Okay?
Okay.
So keep that in mind. But the aloe vera has this thing called glucomannan, which is a reinforcement ingredient for the skin. Aloe vera. It's a very mild, and again, the purer the aloe vera, the less you're going to have the preservatives and the fragrances and all the other stuff, just plain old run-of-the-mill aloe vera. And your vitamin C, so that you get the benefit of vitamin C topically administered. But taking vitamin C is also important. As a matter of fact, one of the things you can do is take a long-acting vitamin C before you go to bed. Because if your body's making a lot of collagen and you're getting good sleep, you can have levels of vitamin C in your system all night while you're sleeping, as opposed to non-long-acting vitamin C, where it's going to be eliminated through the kidneys very quickly. But long-acting, it gets into the bloodstream very slowly and it leaves very slowly, as opposed to the non. And that's for all-night coverage, theoretically, because it's a long-acting preparation, whereas any vitamin C that you take during the day will be eliminated probably the first time you go to the restroom and urinate. It's just very water soluble, and it's eliminated
very
very
good
quickly.
for someone who doesn't sleep well at night and is up several times a night.
Well, I'm not sure I could address that specifically, because it's hard to, theoretically, it's not that great. I mean, during the day, I try to take one every 2 or 3 hours. You could even take half a tablet. You don't have to take a full 500 milligram tablet, because your body's not going to use a lot of it. So it's just something that's eliminated very quickly. And you can take a lot of vitamin C before you develop serious side effects, basically. Yeah. But okay, so then the last thing I was going to recommend on the skin issue with, like this woman that you were talking about that was, demented and having issues going on, a lot of what we talked about related to dry skin problems, dryness of the skin. And that's where the aloe vera and the olive oil, using that, can help counteract the dry skin issues. In addition to the hydration. As a matter of fact, one of the other recommendations right here, I put it in a little bottle, is take green tea. Green tea has this EGCG ingredient that's kind of a complicated agent that helps work to fortify the skin. And if you just take a tea bag of green tea, put it in about 4 ounces of boiling water, let it steep there until it cools off. Once it's cool, put it in a little spray bottle like this, and then keep it in the refrigerator. No preservative, just the green tea from the tea bag and the water. Keep it in the refrigerator to minimize bacterial growth, and just use it to spray your face. It hydrates, but the EGCG in it helps fortify the skin composition. And the green tea is very popular amongst the Asian population. They have phenomenal skin, as you know.
Yes.
Right? And who knows what all goes into it, because there's probably several reasons. But the last thing I wanted to address regarding skin benefits is this nitric oxide that we've spoken of. And one of the best things we can do, talk about watching television or even driving, is to simply breathe in through the nose. Hold it briefly and then exhale through the nose. Breathing in and out through the nose actually produces more nitric oxide for your whole circulation.
That I can
Very simple thing to do. Just Now, some people go all out on this idea because I don't know how many people here have heard of sleeping with your mouth open. That's where snoring happens, and then we have all the complications of sleep apnea and so forth. But if you were to take a piece of
beside you with your snoring.
Okay, well, sometimes sleeping on the side can help, but if you just take a piece of tape over the mouth,
Michael does
the
that.
mouth
I do that.
closed. You do that?
I do
You do
every night for about 7 or 8 years.
Oh, good for you. Okay, so you've learned.
Oh yeah, I listened to a scientist who talked about. He was the guy that got the Nobel Prize in 1992, I think, and he said if you shut your mouth and and breathe through your nose, and even everything you do, and breathe through your belly, that nitric oxide will get inside and it just flows. And I had chronic sinuses for most of my life, and as soon as I did that, I thought, damn, I'm just gonna expire. I'm just gonna collapse it. But it didn't. It actually cleared the airways, and I've never had a problem since.
Isn't
Never.
that phenomenal? Isn't that phenomenal? Because I thought the same thing, because if you're congested through your nose, you're breathing out of your mouth out of desperation because you need oxygen. But what happens is your body compensates.
Yeah, the brain says, I know what's happening. I'm going to open up those airways.
Yeah, that's right.
And the nitric oxide is actually going up all the little ventricles up in your nose. Yeah. And that's the difference between that and mouth breathing. And then it amazes me that people go for sleep apnea machines with big mouth. All they got to do is take a $2, $3, $4 piece of tape, paper tape, and then I do it from there to there rather than that.
Right.
Because I put a little tab on the top so I can put it down, have a sip of water, put it back up again. And you go under the chin. And it works.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your testimonial, because that is totally magical, and it is the absolute number one most beneficial thing you can do over all the other things I talked about. I saved the best for last.
I'm going to change my name to Mike and nitric oxide.
That's right. That's so important, and you can share it with all your friends, and the body will compensate because it knows nitric oxide is so much more beneficial than being able to breathe out of your mouth.
Mm.
Yeah.
It'll work on your favor, but you have to tell it what to do and make sure that it stays on the right track.
Yeah.
So, any other questions? Because I know we're coming to the end of our, if we've not overpassed it.
We have slightly gone over time, but I think that was great, and we can keep the other half till next month. Actually, no, next month is February, and we have that particular week, we have our founders, Steve and Michelle Wally, here down under with Cheryl Morley on the Gold Coast. Oh, beautiful. So we won't be having a session in February with you unless you want to do the second week in February.
Well, right now, I do believe it may be free, but we can talk about it. I would love to attend that one, of course, and hear what they have to say.
Oh, well, no, they aren't coming on my Zoom. They're actually
they're not
alive in Australia.
Oh, they're doing their own thing.
To New Zealand and Australia. They're doing a tour of New
Zealand
and
Australia. So I'll have to check with them on getting the link to it, right?
They're not doing a link. It's in person.
Oh, you have to be there.
Yeah, you have to be there. So I've got to travel up to Queensland because I go to the Gold Coast one.
Oh, well, congratulations. That's wonderful. That's absolutely fantastic.
They don't come down under very often. So we're all very excited about that and doing everything we can. So if you know anyone in Australia that you think would benefit from hearing them, let me know and I can send you the link for our events because it's free. Good. It's free.
Oh, lovely.
People can come for free. But
it's a sad thing that they're not available online, but I guess that's what happens.
Oh, well, they are online, like they do a call every month sort of thing, but it's nice to meet people in person.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
One day I'll meet you in person, Lisa.
Wonderful. Well, I feel so privileged to even see you online. I mean, this is really an extravagant experience. Where's the rest of our group? We need to get more people, but at least you have everything.
It's school holiday time here, so it's not just Christmas and New Year. This is our summer school holiday break, our big break.
Of course, yes.
So a lot of people are away on holidays, or Karen's group isn't meeting. She was here, but I knew she had to go off for a leaders meeting because I'm supposed to be on that, and I just said, this clashes with my call. So.
Well, good. So, Grant, you haven't said a word all night. What's wrong with you?
I've been listening quite intently, and I do the Wim Hof method. So I'm into cold showers every morning, and I do movements and stuff. So I'm.
You're already in good shape.
And Grant's my note taker.
Yeah, I take notes. I take a lot of notes.
I can't take notes
Very fun.
whilst I'm hosting, or when anyone's talking. I have to watch the replay because I am dyslexic, but I need to concentrate on what's being said.
Sure. Beautiful.
That's why it's great to record things and have them there, because you can go back and make notes if you miss something.
Wonderful.
But anyway, well, I will have to call it quits there today. And as I ask you all nicely here in Bronie's world, to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you're breathing in and out of your nose, doing all those awesome intensive exercises right there on your chair, then you too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very brave. God bless you all, and catch you again tomorrow here in Bronie's world. And remember, a healthy mix in 26, and that's what we're doing. Some healthy mix.
All right.
Thanks, Lisa, Bronie, Mike.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Lisa. We appreciate you.
Okay.
We really
Just
do.
be lovely. It's all good. Thank you.